and she has lost her son in an automobile accident, and so she and her husband decide that they're going to leave the city and move to the country to try and start a new life and get over their despair. But they can't because there's some things happening in the house, and the audience is sort of in tune that something might be wrong. My character first thinks that perhaps it's the spirit of her dead son. So actually I feel better about that. Maybe he's with us, but maybe it's actually something else. And then there's some crazy townspeople. So there's a lot going on in the movie, and it sort of starts off very languidly and beautiful and ends up into being this grand horror finale of a lot of blood and guts and fun. So I hope people have a good time with it.
So what drew you to the project?
Ted Gagan wrote and directed it, and I had met him when I was working on Your Next. He was the publicist for it, and we just got along. You know, you meet somebody sometimes and you just feel a symbiotic relationship with them, and we just became friendly. So he had sent me the script a number of years ago, even before he told me that he actually wrote it for me. So when I initially read it, he said, I just want to get your take on it. What do you think about the characters? What do you think about the story? Do you have any ideas for me? And I just thought it was wonderful. Of course, when I read it, I thought, I could probably play that role, but I didn't mention it to him. And then about a year later, when he was able to secure funding with Dark Sky through Travis Stevens, he said, I want you to play this part. And I was like, great, I want that part. So it was really an opportunity to work with him, and a wonderful character, and a lot of stuff going on in the movie. So it was a joy to work on it, really.
Yeah, you mentioned Your Next. That was a sort of a breakout hit of Fright Fest a couple of years ago. It seems like We Are Still Here is going to be the same way because it really has taken off in the States. Why do you think it's gone over so well with horror fans? Because, I mean, we're a picky bunch, as I'm sure you're aware.
Yes, I think the horror fans are really smart. And there's some mainstream people that have reviewed this movie, and I think maybe, for the most part we've gotten good reviews, but I think some people don't get it. I think you have to have a knowledge of the genre to actually look at this movie and see the elements that Ted used to sort of, bring an homage to Lucio Fulci into the forefront, and also use some references to Lovecraft. And just the energy of the movie is reminiscent of late 70s, early 80s horror. So I think, and the reveal of the ghost is something that is also very representative of some movies that have gone before it. So I think you kind of have to, be a true horror fan to appreciate this movie, and this audience certainly does.
Do you feel like there's a resurgence of sort of old school horror happening right now? Do you think that's the way it's going?
I think that's always happening. I think that the filmmakers that grew up in the 80s watching movies are now old enough to make movies. So I think we're seeing, like Ty West and some other people, the 70s and 80s was popular. But, in different time periods when those people grow up, from different eras, they're going to hark back to the movies that they watched 20 years prior when they were children. So I think it just goes along like that, yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to us. It was so lovely to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. Thank you.